And hello everyone, and welcome to our D3 CTL Finals. I'll be your caster today alongside Clay. Hello, Clay. Yeah, after chaining the cast from earlier this morning, probably not in the best of spirits, but hopefully you'll be alongside me for the entire match.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully so. Either way, so today we'll see IKW facing Bulbul, IKW third seed of this CTL season, making pretty big surge at the end of the season. But let's start off with our first seed team today. Clay, I'll just let you present Bulbul.
And Bobo have Ford, Snowy, Idolo, Snoopy, and Gwaine back. Idolo definitely Bobo's most prominent player, I would say. He didn't play 10 out of 10 to my memory, but still a 36 average, close to MVP. Ford is also another pretty decent player. Snoopy, well, has a D1 banner, so he can't be that bad. And Snowy's pretty alright too. Gwaine, I'm not too sure on how good he is at bagging, but to my recollection, I think he's pretty solid. So shocks should be pretty even, at least.
He's definitely been improving a lot these past few months, to my knowledge, these past few seasons. And yeah, Adlo, that's part of why they were close to not getting their first seed, is because Adlo didn't play the first few weeks. Like, their lineups were a bit more shaky, so they lost some key matches against, for example, IF against NXT, for example. So yeah, start of season a bit shaky, but they ended up pulling themselves quite well. And let's go towards IKW's lineup. Who we saw face off against FW during the semis, winning during pretty close matches. It was a 2-0, but both matches were won by like less than 20. They're picking up the same lineup here with Bali, Callum, Season, and Clyde. Definitely their best lineup going into this. Bali, once again, improving a lot these past few seasons. Been a surprising point scorer for them, considering he was mostly well-known for bagging a few seasons ago. Callum, solid player with a lot of experience. Same could be said for Season and Clyde, really. Ardux, of course, we like to joke about the Ducks' work, as always, but he's been a pretty solid bagger for them regardless, even with all the jokes of him constantly pulling in 9. I'm expecting shocks to be fairly even, maybe a bit in favor of IKW, but we'll just have to see how the match goes. Any predictions for how the overall match is going to go, Clay?
I expect Bulbul to definitely pull ahead early. I think IKW could maybe make a late comeback, but I think it just really comes down to track picks. Because IKW definitely have their tracks that they can perform on.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Apparently the teams are ready, so we might want to switch to set track picks immediately, depending on where our casts are at. Yeah, standing room. But yeah, IKW definitely having, like for example, Alpine Peak, Glimmer, that are really well known for, and they have gotten quite a few winning races on in this season. As we can, I think actually we can see Ardex's mean in like 7th. So yeah, expecting that Alpine Peak for once again that bagger respawn that we're pretty familiar with by this point.
Yeah.
Any track picks that you'd expect for this one? We've seen Bulbul go Lost Fortress a lot for odds, so that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I'd definitely assume Lost Fortress from them, and then if Ardux is in like mid spot, then Alpine from IKW.
Yeah, they don't have to pick Alpine immediately, considering Ardux is like in 8th.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick Alpine Peak immediately because it's dependent on like your position when you join the room. So I might expect Glimmer. Yeah, there it is. Glimmer is what I expected, and Evens second having a great line, and then you could just get Shrooms and bonus spots for that.
For sure.
I do see a Rogue Festival Town pick. That is not off list actually. That's also IKW, but would expect Glimmer. Perhaps a bit less flashy of a track pick, but it is going to be Glimmer to start us off here. So let's see how the top 3 handles that start here and who manages to make that gap cut earlier. Will we see any BKT cuts? That's what I'm curious about.
I did see like Ford going for it on his stream, so maybe we can see it from him.
Alright, well, he is in first, so I guess we'll have to see if he can hold on to that. Having to outline second. I'm not sure exactly who's in, I believe Season. Alright. Trailing onto that Nana. It's gonna be scary going into it. He wants to go for BKT cut. He doesn't. Seems to get it a bit tighter though. Bit of lag, but IKW still firmly in the lead so far. Do you see Bobble member in third though? So overall, Bobble seems to be getting a bit higher for so far, but we'll have to see once that first cut goes. Can definitely turn the race around quite a bit. We do see
Yeah, for
Clyde
sure.
right behind them. Ooh,
Ford
nice
pipped out by
fib.
Callum.
Great fit from Callum there, forcing Ford into 6 there. We might want to switch POVs just for the next cut. We do see Snowy and Aidlo, I believe, right in front of him. So seems like IKW have quite a firm hold of the top spot so far. All right, we'll have to see Season, the one member of IKW that we can see who's so far in the back here, going for the cut and
Ooh.
barely makes it. Wow, that was really close. But now IKW in 1-3-4 with Bali, Callum, and Season in 1-3-4.
Just go forwards, yeah.
I have a Mega 4.
And that Mega Pull is absolutely huge from Season there. Gonna be forced to burn
Gonna be
it
forced
though.
into it though.
Actually, I think he managed to break it, but just didn't expect it. And that's an early shock. Great shock though, because it gets Aidlo after the ramp and doesn't TS Callum and gets Bali right before the ramp as well. So really well timed shock for IKW and gets Season firmly into first here. Top 3 for
I think it's a
IKW.
top 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it is IKW. It's top 3 for IKW. We might want to switch POVs here because I do believe that Season should just run this. Aidlo probably chaining those shrooms here. We that's an
It's in
unfortunate
the
box.
box.
I'm off.
Unfortunate box miss, but we do see that both. Oh, Ford fell off as well. A lot of people fell off. Wow. I believe it's all Bulbul. So they're only like 4 or 5, and top 3 is broken away.
Yeah. And his PC5 is really gonna be brutal.
That's not helping. It's pretty much in no man's land because you can't pass it to whoever teammate is in front of you. Unfortunately. Oh,
yeah, and he's read it off. That's just. Ooh.
Top 3-5 for IKW with Clyde in 5th there, but Snowy taking cut, trying to cut into that top 4. And both backers still chaining though, so we could see a late shock here. Ford getting up top, but not getting the full cut. So IKW really dominant in this race after a great first shock and a fair few mistakes from the start of lap 2. Bolly taking the cut there. Yeah, top 3 is just gone by this point. Ford is going to be able to get into like 4th, but unless they get like a gigantic shock here, I'm fully expecting IKW to get a really good race here. I guess Ford's stream is not cooperating. We'll switch off for the time being. Thank you. Ford getting hit out, I guess. So we do see Aidlo in 5th now after all that. Clyde in 6th, trying to catch up his teammates in top 4. At this point, it's purely a salvage. Both backers still at the set, so don't think any of them have pulled Bluest Throne, but it's far too late. It might have been held by Clyde for the ending there. And actually, Snowy getting hit out.
Top 3-5.
That is an insane start for IKW. I guess either Caster's Curse or just them being that strong on one of their signature picks, but great job for IKW managing to get like a really big lead onto race 1.
Yeah, really dominant from now. I'm honestly kind of surprised because I would have thought that Bobo would be very familiar with this because it's very commonly picked these days. And
well, I don't really
surprise.
I don't really think it's any track knowledge diff. Like we have seen, like for example, Callum hit out Ford like almost immediately with that fib, and then he was just kind of out of the race. And a lot of people either getting hit or just IKW preferring really clean cuts to get ahead. And of course, there was a massacre of like at the start of lap 2, just I believe like 2 members of Bull falling off. So definitely doesn't help. Inside that TC, obviously. So yeah, that's 27 after the first race. Good lord. Then again, that shock also helping quite a bit because I do believe it was Aidlo. I was either Aidlo or Snoopy. I'm not sure which is which just yet, but just being TS'd in like 2nd right after the ramp, and every single other member of IKW, that shock was great for them, and they just practically didn't lose any time. And of course, DSY being instantly picked.
Ugh. God.
NXT pick, but doesn't matter which team picks this, since this is playoffs and this is the strongest running track in the format right now, so you might as well use it. A blissful blog being picked, arguably a worse track according to some.
Vile voting screen.
Regardless, blissful, quite the common pick for Bulbul. Have picked it quite a bit for like mid-low spots. quite strong shroom cuts lap 2 and lap 3. We'll just have to see if they can already try and cut that lead that IKW have found themselves in. Any
See if there's any car hits in the beginning, you know? That's what's interesting.
any low trickers?
I thought the car.
Oh.
Sorry.
Low tricking into the wall.
Well, that is not a car hit, but that's pretty much just as bad. And we do see actually Ailo getting into first already, so Bulbul showing them. Oh, never! Oh my god!
Oh! Sniped out.
Okay, well, Bolly got hit as well, but Aidlo just completely destroyed at the start of this race, so quite unfortunate. But we do see Clyde, Callum in 2 and 4, so Bulbul still firmly in the lead, especially with that back green. Great job by Ford. Oh, we do see Season actually shrimming on the bottom path, not something you see very often, and getting Ford out of first, so IKW now in 1-3. A lot of movement this race is just the start.
Yeah, for sure.
That shroom from Cal, I'm just going to be able to take the cut at the start of lap 2. Should be ahead of Aidlo. I do believe it's Aidlo. Should be ahead of Aidlo at the start of this lap 2, unless he has a shroom in second. Which he does, actually. Okay, so we might see Bulbul take the lead once again. They do, yeah, that shroom cut just saves a boatload of time here. Great POW gets actually doesn't get Season on landing, so I'm not sure which POW which team this POW belonged to. Volley into Bill, interesting. We do see Ardux in 9th actually, so might have just made sure that Gwyn could not pull shock almost immediately. Grand back green by Callum, getting the draft on his teammate into 2nd. Dodging the Nana there. Pretty dominant race so far from Aidlo. Ooh, has to avoid that car. That dreaded purple car at the end of lap 2 there. A lot of players have hit that.
Yeah, still in 2-3 though, so not too bad.
Absolutely. You do have still have quite the lead for Aidlo, but Bolly taking the cut here, but that POW might have sent him off the rail. And Aidlo not getting the trick, so he's gonna be off, and that respawn is just horrendous for him. So once again, Bulbul just not getting the race that we expect out of them, unless we can get like a really good ending here. But we do see Bulbul in like 5, 6, 7. Callum getting hit out, shrooming back up. Gonna be a really close ending. Pretty much the entire pack is this close. Don't know who got bumped off. Just a lot of chaos here.
Yeah, just a shot coming out from Bulbul, I assume.
Snowy dodged in Mega, but Clyde dodged in Star, so Season actually shrooming up their way. It's going to be pretty decent. It's a decent race for IKW. It's like 2-3-5.
Yeah.
We dodged Snowy. I'm not even sure who that shock belonged to, because Snowy dodged in Mega, and that got him like first or 4th. Someone got hit out at the end there anyway. But Clyde just dodging in Star, getting someone off there. That shock might have been better for IKW than it was for Bulbul.
Yeah, it seemed kind of even, if anything. Just a weird call, in my opinion. But
yeah, you would expect it. I would expect this IKW with just Snowy predicting, because there's no real reason for Bulbul to call that unless it was Snowy indiving for first, in which case, well, you definitely lost your team more spots than you won of that there, and that's IKW getting a +3 race on one of Bulbul's signature picks.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised by, like, you know, how much frontal presence they showed that race.
I mean, granted, the Bolly taking their cut there absolutely allowed him to stay in the front, like at lap 3 there, but Aidlo just nailing that cut in Mega, like that hurts. That hurts a lot when one of your theoretically best players just makes such a big mechanical misplay. One could just say, well, the trick didn't come out, which I think he was just too far to the left there. He tried to overcompensate because of the bigger Mega hitbox, but just didn't come out, and that really hurts in the long run. Aqua Dungeon for 2-3, that's expected.
Ooh. These phone screens are not doing me any favors.
Yeah, pretty divisive track picks from both teams, I will say. The Aqua Dungeon, as far from being as bad as it was on release, it's still definitely pretty good, really good for 2-3, and it is going to be picked out for IKW. We're gonna have to see if Snowy can manage to stay in first here, because he could try and swerve, but you're definitely not in the spot where it could work out. We might want to switch these POVs for the start if we can. Oh wait, no, it's 498 low. Whoops. Never mind. Well, we'll just have to see from the outside then. Keep an eye on first, Bros. And I believe he does stay in first, actually.
Yeah,
he
he
does.
actually kept it. Okay, fair enough.
Alright, well, great job to him. That means that Bobol still have the lead going into this. Callum hitting the wall, unfortunately. But yeah, good job to Snowy for keeping first there. It should stay in front there unless Season makes like a mad outplay here. We'll have to see how it goes. Maybe throwing the Nana up. Not sure who's behind him. Great job on the Nana. Well, actually, he's sandwiched between two Bobol members. Can't be good.
Good attempt from Season.
Also, I would like to say, since the update, this track is fully baggable, so it is not going to be sitting anymore. So bagging battle will actually be interesting to follow for once.
Oh,
Nice,
yeah.
nice Nana attempt, but unfortunately not enough. He's being really aggressive with the Bulbul member behind him. That might bite him like a bit later.
Yeah.
Unless Adlo is just trailing something. Back red not
We're
connecting.
trimming up in
Bulbul,
top 2.
Bulbul managing to, for like maybe Caster's Curse, but just Bulbul having a lot of front row presence this rate compared to the two others. We do see Callum right behind Season though. Could be a bit of bumping going on in that cut, but should be fine. For not letting himself get outlined there, thankfully. Has Snowy backed anything? Ooh, great draft.
No?
There's the blue shell. Could maybe sweet a swerve into Season. Season manages to dodge it, perfect. So he does get into first.
Word let it out.
Might have been by his own teammate actually, because I do see Adlo with trip reds. I might have seen wrong though. Backing that Nana. Really aggressive. Season is backing really aggressively, but it seems to be working out for him as Akidolia is now in top 2. Might want to switch POVs then to someone else while Season is running. Thank you. And we do see Ford actually with a Shroom, and with that Shroom cut, he could get into first here. That Shroom cut is really strong.
Yeah.
Get first. We'll have to see if Season can maybe try and snipe him out on the next straightaway here, like onto that ledge here. That's a pretty common sniping spot. And right as I say it, we do see it connect Season back into first right at the start of lap 3. With that
Target pal's kind of bad though.
That's a really good target pal, but IKW still in first at the very least, 1-3 with the Idlo in second. Really good pal call from Bobol. Actually plays Bali in third, never mind. Might want to switch once to get. Oh, actually, did I see blue? Might have been Streamlike. Might have been Streamlike. Bobol actually in 2-3-4, great backfib, at least removes one of them. But Season, he's been hitting everything this race, man.
Yeah.
I'll just have to probably switching POVs then before like the ending, because I am expecting at least a shock to come out from either of those. They're changing at the set because you can't really back any more than that, because you won't get a set until really late. Callum choosing to not take the cut, instead to Shroom there. Yeah, I was expecting a call there. Clyde getting
IKW dodging up.
Yeah, and Season, I believe one of Bulbul's members is actually getting TS'd here, so this is going to be top 2 for IKW. Nana's coming out, and
Maybe a top 3?
That is top 3!
Wow.
IKW, man, just completely being really dominant this war.
Yeah, quite the surprise for me. I really like how Season played that. On that track, you really need to be in first, because that's like, it's kind of what determines everything. And he just hit everything he fucking threw. It's good on him.
Yeah. The great snipe on for Rise, I called it too. Just I'm. Okay, yeah, thank you, Lawrence, for correcting me. So at least I won't mix up Idlo and Snoopy anymore. Appreciated. Completely forgot about that feature. Regardless, yeah, just Season really showing exactly why he was considered such a strong player going into the division there. But yeah, just pretty much really being dominant for IKW overall. That is plus 52 in 3 races. Definitely not something you're used to see from Bulbul, especially with their strongest lineups.
Yeah.
So we have to, so for those in the audience that haven't followed the regular season, IKW lost both matches against Bulbul in pretty dominant fashions. Bulbul won like 70 and 120, I believe, or something along those lines. And those were with theoretically weaker Bulbul lineups, so it's really a shock for everyone involved here. DS Warrior Stadium is thankfully not going to be picked for Bulbul. They have a moment of reprieve there as Shaggy Lumberco is picked out. definitely their main bagging track, I will say. So hopefully it'll be the moment where they can just hit the brakes and manage to stop AKW in their tracks. Because if they can get a fourth race and get like a 70 lead going into GP2, that's a big mental swing.
Yeah, for sure.
Have to say at the start how it goes for getting triple shrooms already. That is exactly what you need. And Snoopy sniping out an IKW member, which I believe was Callum. I'm not sure, unfortunately. Flashback too quickly, but Forge should just be able to like pretty much be in first his entire race. That's exactly the start you want.